Right. We're starting to find out more about this. You weren't saying our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice. You're saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband? Not even to save his son? Yeah, yeah. But even if the deal went through, why, it would be an international scandal. That's Detective Crescent's insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice. Detective Crescent, this is true. First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway? Distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let Sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. Where's your proof? Well... yeah, we're still running on fumes here. Oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Borginian Customs barely sleeps, they're so worried about Cocoon's getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination. Borginian Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked. Just how strict is this customs check? Way strict. They keep planes on the ground for hours. I do recall it being a bit extreme. They were even confiscating gumdrops and marshmallows. Yes, it would be hard to distinguish them. That's right, Gavin was in Borginia, wasn't he? I remember setting off the metal detectors several times. I had to practically strip naked to walk through. Here's a travel tip for you, Gavin. Leave the bling at home, you glimmers fop. Cocoon possession will get you arrested on the spot and then sentenced to death. That's pretty extreme. Borginia has this rep as an idyllic, laid-back place. Truth is, they're beyond hardcore with security. The Republic of Borginia is a peaceful, pleasant country. So this level of security shows us how truly concerned they are about these cocoons. That's the situation. Hey man, if there's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. You're in a position to know quite a bit about smuggling. Yeah, I need to know a bit for work, sure. But all we get are reports on the failed smuggling ops. Not exactly something you want to go copying. But if you want, I can tell you a few of them. Maybe you'll succeed and get rich. I'd be interested in hearing. Purely from a legal perspective, of course. Really now. I weep for our judicial system. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. Interpol's all hot and bothered by it. If there's a way to get cocoons out there, I'd like to know. Keys. Wait a second. The guitar was sent from Borginia, right? Is this... Is this why it was burned? Hold on. What else does he say? If there's a way to get him... Is this it? Objection! Oh... Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country. No checks. What is it? You become a prosecutor. A prosecutor? Uh-oh. So they smuggle it out in the guitar? I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lamora. How did it end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it. So this guitar is from Borginia. That it is. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity ruin the wood. So we vacuum packed it in Lamora's studio. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Oh, damn. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched. Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum-packed in Borginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy. To use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Borginia. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor. That guitar had some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory here, Forehead. Well, you know how guitarists have a round hole in the front. It's called the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. Right. A broken device of some sort. That was how they did it. It was rigged to be incinerated just in case. A broken device? Yes, this in fact. An igniter. Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. Oh! There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. they could use picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access, like a member of the band? Oh. I think it's starting to come together now. Order! Order! So the igniter was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution. A precaution? Ah, her forehead. At last, it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sounds of Lamoureux's ballad, if you will. First, my keys were stolen, a harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar. I see. But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. What's that? Mr. Latouche. Oh! Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was on to something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself, which was why he was holding the keys to the guitar case. If the cocoon were confiscated then, the jig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch, now! The guitar burst into flames and the cocoon was lost. And then... Mr. Latouche died. With Lamoureux there to witness it. There's your case. Brilliant, man! Detective Crescent? I gotta know, you make all that up on the fly? With a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Dodian. The Republic of Borginia? Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help. A Borginian accomplice. That's all. Mahi. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamoureux heard proves it. Yeah. You made this transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage. But who was it? This is it, the coup de grace. And for once, I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned. With a great accusation comes great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who is the smuggler's accomplice? It was probably him. There's only one person who meets the requirements, and that person is the defendant, Mahi Tobai. But, Mr. Justice, he's your client! A defense attorney accusing his client? That's a new one. I assure you, no one's more unhappy about this than I. But I'm here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche. And I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. Indeed, the defendant is Borginian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was in fact Lamara? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure of yourself. The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals? Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. Yes, that's true. Now, think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamara was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area the remote could reach from the air vent. Well, looking at this, it seems Lamara still could have done the deed. No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar's serenade. Yeah, part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and the Lamara stand-in were in the air. They were on a tower, which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lamara's position in the air vent. Ah! Well, Detective Crescent, what do you have to say to that? Your Honor. Yes, Detective? Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time? Well, I don't see why not. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it a dozen other times already. What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. I hope you viewers aren't sick of this scene yet. I do rather like the song, though. Too bad, so sad, punk. What? Punk? First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk? You're losing rank fast, Apollo. What exactly are we supposed to see in this video? The problem isn't in what we see, correct, Darian? Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians, after all. You care to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the Wii pianist to set off that igniter. That right? Yes. Well, in order to do that, he'd have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. The piano. Are you saying because he would have needed both hands to play, so when could he have pressed the switch then? What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine. I think that's and that's the problem, man. You still don't get it? Oh. Yeah, how is he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You've got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the diva. Lamara. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press a switch. Ugh. Okay, right there is where is that where the igniter went off? At that moment. He couldn't have pressed that switch. Well, Mr. Justice? The piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice, if Mahi Tobai didn't press that switch, then he couldn't be the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here's some facts for you. Gaven's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story's full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant, Mahi Tobai, the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Apollo, if Mahi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gaven saying just now? Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. Not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Mahi Tobai pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove Mahi Tobai pressed that switch? I guess we got to at this point. I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then, as a prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Head forehead, you're short about this. Ha! Accept it. There's no evidence, man. Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. On what do you base your claim the defendant pressed that switch? It has to have been something that Gaven heard, so... The mixing board? The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor. Music? What about music? Let's listen to the piano part, right around the time when the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar bursts into flame. Okay. I hear a piano being played, but doesn't it sound kind of simple? Simple? Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Mahi could have played that part with one hand? One hand? He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other. What, so you're kind of piano savant? Actually, no. Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand. Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Hey, Trucy. Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he was a pianist. Could he... Oh, well, he wasn't very much of one. He couldn't play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry. So sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you going to prove whether he played it with one hand or 2? You can't! I admit, it will be rather difficult to prove. But it's highly likely he was playing with one hand. How do you know that? The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No. No way! Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand. Right before the guitar bursts into flame. Mahi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar got fire. Context. And one section of the song proves it. Okay. Okay, this is... That's the drum. Wait, let me... hear it again. it's... Does this part sound different? Wait, no. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Herr Forehead. Realize what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the "but a fleeting melody" phrase. Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing? You're right, enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we? Another section? The guitar bursts into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to the "Oh, that night in your embrace." Play verse 2 again. There, did you hear that? It sounded different. They feel the same, true. But they're clearly very different. What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple. But the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use two hands to play that for sure. Oh! What's that prove? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. So the two verses had different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Dadian. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so the piano would stay in the background. That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I asked myself. Now ask yourselves why Mahi changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. Order! 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 I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quite. Though personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. What, no comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up. Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. It's not over? No, it doesn't look like it. He doesn't seem to be backed into a corner yet. I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. In you, Herr Forehead. Huh? Me? Yes, don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But... A thousand facts might point toward the same conclusion. But without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system. I don't believe it. It doesn't seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. I think if he did, we'd have seen it a long ways back. It's unfortunate, but at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? Oh, this is bullshit. The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said. It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. Be aware, it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darien Crescent's igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now or what? May look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney. Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go. Every man has an igniter. Huh? Didn't you say, the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes. Good guitars are kept dry is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What, and this igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. The better. I'm rather fond of poetry. And I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Head forehead. You're accusing this man, Darien Crescent, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Latouche and the smuggling of a Borginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case. This trial's already run on for far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darien Crescent. Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Darien Crescent's plan is... present evidence or call a witness. I don't think it's evidence. It's gotta be a witness, and I think I know who we have to call. Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. So what is? Your accomplice. It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. You mean a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order. but I've got just the person to do it. Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person who can prove Darien Crescent's guilt? It's gotta be Mahi. It's the defendant, Mahi Tobai. Your client? Again? Oh yeah, we got the... Mahi Tobai was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darien Crescent couldn't have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle the cocoon is the real criminal in this case. How so? It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Borgenia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would no doubt also find inside the burnout guitar. Oh, would that work? Oh, very scientific of you. Thus, if Mahi Tobai acknowledges his agreement with Darien Crescent concerning the attempted smuggling of a Borgenian cocoon, the case is solved. Oh, he's not swayed. Darien's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? The little key tickler won't acknowledge anything. Excuse me? Oh, what? Especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. Oh, because... What's this all about? Taking a cocoon out of the country means death. By Borgenian law. Right, he's not gonna confess to it, is he? Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking. But you're wrong, Detective Crescent. What? It's the other way around. If Mahi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble. Huh? How? Look, if Mahi admits to smuggling here, he'll be tried in our courts, by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. They wouldn't extradite him or anything like that? The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Borgenia. And they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the part about the Borgenian cocoon. Yeah, but... But if Mahi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by Borgenian police. And it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here, not now. Yeah, but you can't do this! You can't accuse me! Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's gonna think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Mahi Tobai. The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan? Mahi Tobai knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling. No, he's got that cocky face again. Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace. Hidden mansion, real nice. You want a house made out of cookies? Or Or no, house made of pianos? Oh, God. Oh, he's losing it. Come on. Please! Oh my God! My God, that hair! Victory air guitar. Darian. I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession? Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though. Well, have you been listening to today's trial? Yes. And you'll talk? You'll tell this court everything? I didn't want it to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew. From beginning, I knew. Mahi. The situation, I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However, it has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard. Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Mahi Tobai? Yes? I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce a verdict. Aww. I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth. That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mahi Tobai, not guilty. Yay! Court is adjourned. I wonder what'll happen to Mahi. Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Burginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. All's well that ends well. Oh, Phoenix. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Lamara. Mai, is something wrong? I'm sorry, Mahi was your partner on stage, your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do, yet something got a hold of him. Something evil, I see that. And he must pay for what he's done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually. What, they can actually help her see? You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I've always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to the doctor, Lamara lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I've been running from. I was scared. You know what changed your mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting? That's right, she's the landscape painter in sound after all. I will paint the two of you, I promise. Woohoo, I can't wait, Lamera! I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what? You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Trucy. I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet, me too. Aw. And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on and on until it came to the end. Thanks to the trial. The Guitar Serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have him catch the killer at the end. Alright, we ended Chapter 3. And in the next one, I think that'll about do it for tonight. So in the next one, we'll start the fourth, and I think usually these go on for 4 or 5 chapters. But the next one, Chapter 4, Turnabout Succession. So thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. Hope you're all enjoying so far. I know I am. And I'll see you then.